Hello, grade 12s. Today we're going on to loans and repayments, or in other words, the present value. Just a couple of things that I want to read out to you, which is in the PowerPoints. Okay. First of all, it says a mortgage or a home loan is a loan resulting in debt that is incurred by the purchase of property. A mortgage bond or home loan agreement is a contract issued by a bank stating the capital amount borrowed and the repayments that need to be made in a specified number of years. Regular monthly installments over 20 years is the norm, although bonds for 30 years are sometimes issued in special circumstances. Next point, each repayment has a capital portion and an interest portion. At the beginning of the repayment period, interest forms the larger part of the repayment. As more and more capital is slowly paid off, so less of the installment is needed to cover interest charges, so that towards the end of the term, capital forms the larger part of the repayment. So it always works out like that with loans. When you take out a loan, initially you are actually paying off the interest first. Then somewhere far down the line, that's when you actually start paying the money that you borrowed. Okay, now, this process of gradually reducing a debt by regular equal payments over time, covering capital interest, is called amortization. Okay, so that's a special word. If it comes up in a question, you know that you're dealing with a present value type question, amortization. Okay. The present value of an annuity is used to evaluate loans and repayments, and that's what we're going to go on to in a second. The first loan repayment is generally made at the end of the first period. So in other words, just like what we did with the future value, we skipped that initial bit and we paid 1 month later. And it's always in arrears. Okay, so what they mean by that is you're 1 month behind, unless stated otherwise, which would be a future value kind of thing. Okay. If no information is given, assume payments in arrears. In other words, 1 month after. Okay. So now we're going on to the present value, and the formula for present value is that. All right, where P is equal to X into 1 minus 1 plus I to the power of minus N. Grade 12s, be very careful. It is minus N. A lot of the time, students will forget that negative and get the answer wrong. Okay, so minus N over I. Now, I'm not going to write out what each thing here means. It's very similar to the future value one. The only difference is this P, and P just stands for present value. In other words, how I think of it is like future value is you're getting the money later. All right. Present value, you've got the money now. Okay, so it means a loan. All right, so going on to the first example. The first example is saying Stephen takes out a bond of 1,630,000 Rand to purchase a duplex cluster. The bank approves an interest rate of 8.35% per annum, compounded monthly over a term of 20 years, subject to a deposit of 100,000 Rand. Calculate Stephen's monthly installments. So this duplex complex is going for 1.6 million, but he has to pay a deposit of 100,000 first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work out what is this loan amount. And the loan amount will be equal to whatever the value of the property is, which in this case is 1,630,000 minus the deposit. Okay, so we get a loan amount of 1,530,000 Rand. So that is what he's going to go to the bank and ask to borrow. Okay, now the question is asking what would his monthly repayments be if he borrowed that amount at the interest rate and that time period. And that's what we're going to work out now. So we know what the present value is. The present value is that. The X we're going to work out. That's the monthly payments. The interest, they told us, was 8.35 over 100. and your time period is 20 years. Now they've told us here that this is compounded monthly, so we need to divide that by 12 and times that one by 12. So for this one here, we get 167 over 24,000. And this one here, we would get 240. Okay, so my present value formula, P is equal to X, 1 minus 1 plus I to the minus N. Sorry, there was an ant. All over I. Substitute my values in, and we get now be careful here, it is negative 240. All over 167 over 24,000. Okay, so grade 12s. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work out this bit on a calculator. Then I'm going to say this divided by aunts. Okay, and we will get that X is equal to 13,132 Rand and 80 cents. So that is his monthly payments for taking out a loan of that. Okay, going on to example 2. Okay, so example 2 is saying Nandi is currently paying an installment of 6,673 Rand and 33 cents per month to amortize the loan she used to buy a car. The original agreement had a term of 5 years and an interest rate of 12% per annum, compounded monthly. Question A, determine the original loan amount. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to reverse the present value formula, because we have the monthly installments, we have the time period, and we have the interest rate. So we can work out what P is. So P is the thing we don't know. Her monthly installments are 6,673 Rand and 33 cents. The interest rate was 12%. And the time period was 5 years. And they're telling us that this is compounded monthly, so we need to divide that by 12 and times that one by 12. So this would be equal to 1 over 100, and this one here will be equal to 60. Okay, so our present value formula, P is equal to X, 1 minus 1 plus I to the minus N, all over I. Substitute my values in. Minus 60 all over 1 over 100. Okay, just button press this and you will get a value of 299,999 and 80 cents. Okay, now remember what's happening here, grade 12s, is there's going to be round off errors along the way and things like that. Now, she bought a car. Now, you're not going to think realistically in the real world. They're not going to sell a car for this amount. Okay, so this is going to be approximately equal to 300,000 Rand, the cost of the car. Okay, it's just due to round off error at some point. Okay, so the car would cost 300,000 about. Okay, question B. Question B is saying, calculate the cost price of the car if she paid a 20% deposit. Okay, so how do we reverse a deposit? Okay, well, we know what the loan amount was. And we also know that she paid a 20% deposit. So to make up 100%, we would have to add 80%, okay, to the 20 to get the 100. And that is what I'm going to do here, is I'm going to divide this by the opposite of what her deposit was. In other words, 80%. And if we do this, we will get 375,000 Rand. So that was the cost of the car, with the deposit included. Okay. Question C. Question C is saying, how much will Nandi pay for the car in total? Now, we know what her monthly payments were. Her monthly payments were this 6,673 Rand and 33 cents. Now, remember, that includes the interest, because that would have to cover the loan amount. Okay, so that includes the interest. So what I can do is I can take that 6,673 Rand and 33 cents, and I can multiply it by the time period. And the time period is 5 years, but that is a monthly payment, so I need to multiply that by 12 to convert that into months. So that is what she's paying in total. But remember that she also paid a deposit. Okay, so that would be included in the total amount. So if I work that out over there, I get 400,399 Rand and 80 cents plus that deposit. Okay, and then that we can work out the total. And we get a grand total of 475,399 Rand and 80 cents. That is her total amount that she pays. All right. Grade 12s, I would like you to do exercise 4.4, number 246. Then exercise 4.5, numbers 2 and 3 for me, please. Thank you.